It was such a perfect plan.
Oh no!
99.9%, man. Unlucky. Bot where could squeeze in through, but she won't be finding any as Yo is. Oh my god, and there's a hole!
Oh! There's a hole!
Yeah, if you want to, you can start. Let's go.
Alright, so hello everyone. Welcome to Mango Shallows Cup. Round 5, this is, I think, the last round.
Yes,
and
sir.
we have, in the top left, Mr. Yo playing as the Aztecs. And in the bottom right, we have ACCM playing as the Mayans. They're getting the Mayans out right away. Sorry, the Meso-civilizations out right away. Some of the strongest on Arabia. Well, we're on Bog Arabia now. And where are these players as far as the standings? I always have to ask you because I'm not paying enough attention.
No worries, man. No worries. That's the thing about week number 5 and the Swiss system. Everyone being part of week 5 is actually having a match point game, so to speak. The winner is out. The winner is in, proceeds, and the loser is completely out of the tournament.
Are you serious? Every single player?
Every single player. That's how it works in the Swiss system, the Schenkel system. All the players involved have 2 wins and 2 losses. And this is the last
Every
week.
single player?
I mean, at the moment, part of week number 5, but there are only 6 players involved, you know? That's the thing.
Oh, okay, okay, I get it. Okay, that's pretty crazy. That's really good. These games are very high stakes.
Yeah, definitely. For both players involved in each matchup. Therefore, they will try their best to win as soon as possible, as nicely as possible, because otherwise, being behind that heavily could be a bad situation.
Yeah, and ACCM's boars going back. So going back to the games that I have casted, luckily I've casted quite a few games from these 2 players. I haven't casted any games from like Doubt or Tapto. But I've watched ACCM a lot in this tournament, and he impressed me a lot with a very good showing against Leary in the first round. I believe went to the last game till deathmatch, and obviously he's one series away from getting to the next round. So ACCM is always a player that's in these tournaments because he's a very, very good player, top 15 in the world. But he's never really, broken through on one of these tournaments. Maybe with a win here, going to the playoffs, he'll really be able to get the recognition he deserves. And then Mr. Yo, we all know how strong Mr. Yo is. We could see him be super strong on some matches. The last week's matchup, or maybe it was the week before, where he had some very poor parts of the game, but then really turned it on later in the game with some really great parts of the game. So Yo's potential is super high, and we've seen him at a high level previously, but whether he's going to be at a super high level this series, it waits to be seen.
Exactly. Both players have a lot of potential, but that's also going to depend on what they're going to do in the early game to actually build up the bases. And we can see that ACCM is now dangerously approaching to the TC and is about to lose his scout, man. Come on, man. Dodge the arrows. Ooh, that was a tight one. Now left with 8 out of 50 HP. That's a bad start for ACCM. Bit of a sloppy one. Didn't pay attention to due to the fact that he most likely looked at his economy there for given reasons. But that is going to be a nice advantage for Yo in the beginning as he has a full HP scout.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage, especially in a Meso war where we're likely to see some sort of aggression like men-at-arms or militia. We already have the barracks coming up from Mr. Yo. It's 7 minutes, so we'll probably see men-at-arms from him. He's playing as the Aztecs. Typically, the Aztecs have the advantage in the men-at-arms department because of that extra gold and the creation bonus. And ACCM probably is going to think about counter man-at-armsing and going for gold and transitional archers. The problem for ACCM is that his golds, all 3 of them, are very forward and very open. I haven't seen a map with all 3 golds this exposed and this forward in probably forever.
Exactly, this is really bad for ACCM. I mean, how do you want to even protect this besides using towers, right? You're pushed into going for defensive towers, or your opponent is going to go for towers and basically deny those resources. Also, the stone situation looks really bad. The secondary stone is really far away. It's actually towards the middle of the whole distance between the 2, and the first stone also not in the best situation. Therefore, ACCM best advised to go for some aggressive moves to actually focus on the middle or the front part of Yo's base, so the fight doesn't take place in front of his own base, because otherwise I feel that he's not going to get out of that situation easily. Therefore, they're both clicking up now, and we can see that ACCM is actually clicking up first. That's actually quite some difference there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a nice
obviously
little
we have
difference.
Millions and Aztecs, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so
certainly.
that's why. Yeah.
Certainly. So both players 21 population up. What the difference is due to, I don't know. Maybe some idle time or poor Dark Age mechanics. But this gold is, I think, even made worse by the Civilization matchup. since the Aztecs should have the advantage in the Dark Age, where I think if you're ACCM, go 5 Militia, maybe go big, maybe go 6 or 7. Make sure that you 100% win the Militia battle, and let's see the first engagement, as these Militia are going downhill for Yo. ACCM should have a good position.
Exactly, and he is closer with his own barracks. He could reinforce if needed. He's going for double, not double decks, but man-at-arms most importantly. Both are doing that, and it's going to kick in at the very same time, just 1 second's difference. And then probably both are going to try to engage. Interestingly, both man-at-arms groups, very soon man-at-arms groups, are going to the top right-hand side now. Now the engagement is starting, and man-at-arms has kicked in slightly earlier for ACCM, I guess. But still, Yo's taking good fights with the Eagle, most importantly, and it seems that Yo is gonna win this one, or is he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Yo should have won that. I mean, he had that Eagle there the whole time. ACCM should have at least brought his Eagle, maybe just to, just to poke and prod a little bit at the Eagle, at the Men-at-Arms, hopefully not lost it. But that wasn't too bad of a fight. I mean, Yo has not continued to add Men-at-Arms. Instead, Yo is adding a archery range early, just like ACCM. So we're not going to see a big Men-at-Arms war like I thought we would. And players are now going to go to archers. The question now, though, without any men-at-arms on the field, is going to be, do you go archers or skirmishers? We have 1 archer, 1 skirmisher for Yo, and we have 2 archers for ACCM. Of course, as mines, you want to add archers, but skirmishers might be the way to go here with so few men-at-arms on the field.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, you want to make use of this bonus that you have with the Mayans, but skirmishes in the end will be the one unit to be chosen, I strongly assume. Unless, of course, someone wants to go for some early Eagle pressure, and that is actually Yo, by the way, who's now producing a second Eagle. So it's interesting. He has both skirmishes and Eagles on his side as a production. Interesting, he's going to go for quite some aggressive stance, producing a variety of units here, whereas ACCM trying to play the game with more archers, but that's not going to work like that. He's being chased by a scout as well as skirmishes, and he doesn't have fletching, so that's not going to work, at least for now. And the tower, as said, is now in the making for ACCM because he needs that one, because otherwise Yo's going to take over and then deny the gold, and that could be GG for ACCM. So he's best advised to obviously secure that area ASAP.
Yeah, finally the tower goes up. It feels kind of, I mean, this army composition of Yo has really done some good. The extra skirmisher in there, plus the extra eagle and the men-at-arms, has done quite a bit of damage, killed a villager. Now, unfortunately, going to lose 2 archers to the tower. Perhaps that tower should have been up earlier for ACCM, but ACCM secures his gold. Now he's got to worry about his wood line.
Yeah, true. I mean, he could secure that one, just couple of quick walls, and that's fine. We're just talking about 2 skirmishes. It's not the dangerous thing coming from the distance. The eagles could be definitely annoying, and come on, man, just block it. Oh, come on, that was actually preventable in my opinion, but yeah, it didn't happen. ACCM too busy at this point, but doing his best to secure this villager's life. But the other villagers are not even moving because he feels confident with the army that he has. 2 skirms and an archer, but I'm not so sure, man. Yo's actually doing great things. ACCM quite reactive. He just wants to keep his cool, not to go for a lot of villager idle time, just keeps him working and tries to compensate the situation with his own army.
I like that ACCM has at least completed the walls on the right side. That means all he has to worry about is the left side. Of course, he's got a lot to worry about on the left side, but looks like he's actually going to corner this army and hopefully clean it up, as long as he doesn't lose to the archers to the skirms.
Yeah, indeed. It's interesting how ACCM just continues with his economy, trying to keep a cool stance over here, don't panic. He also has fletching, so does Yo, at least for now. Asking myself what the next step is going to be like. More and more archers, by the way, approaching by Yo, as well as 3 forward villagers. Is he going to go for some extra resources? No, it's actually, it seems like he wants to drop a tower, at least I feel.
Well, the thing about covering your gold with a tower, it does usually leave you open, depending on the shape of the gold, to a tower like in the perfect position where it can just cover the gold and not engage the other tower. So perhaps Yo is thinking about a southern tower to take over the gold.
Yeah.
Yo has had an advantage in military this entire game, but does he have enough to place this tower? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. At this point, if we just look at these 3 Vulls and this 1 archer, obviously not, but he wants to play a sneaky game. That's way too ambitious. Oh yeah, ACCM sees this one. This is a joke, actually, for ACCM at this point. Why does Yo do this? He felt way too safe. That's way too overconfident. He loses 1 villager already. That's terrible. And there's the remaining army of Yo arriving now. Way too late, and great reaction by ACCM, walling in the tower, denying this one. This is super, super important. In my opinion, way too easily thought by Yo.
Yeah, a mistake from Yo, and I'm quite impressed by ACCM's defense. Normally, in these circumstances, players might crumble under the pressure. Their gold's getting pressured, then their wood line. ACCM had all of his villagers working the whole time, only lost one villager, cleaned up the army, and now he has more army than Yo. And I think that Yo wasn't expecting ACCM's economy to work so good this whole time, and therefore expected himself to have more army, and that wasn't the case.
That's crazy, actually. It's a good game by ACCM so far. If we look at the economy, he even has a villager lead. Yo is off. Oh, no, okay. Sorry, my bad. He's getting wheelbarrow there, so I was just scared for a second that he's idling his sea, but all good. Not a huge difference then between the two. And ACCM now trying to find a spot where he could squeeze in through, but he won't be finding any as Yo is... Oh my god, and there's a hole!
Oh! There's a hole! There's a hole in the wall!
Oh my god, man. There's always a hole, as they say. But he won't be able to deal as much damage as one would think, because, I mean, that one village is quite a bad loss for Yo, but ACCM is best advised to keep his army safe, because there's a huge chance that he might lose it otherwise. But so far it's looking bad for Yo all of a sudden.
Well, actually, ACCM needs to make sure he gets his archers out of there. There's quite a few skirmishers in the area, and he's going to dive deeper into the base. He might lose a lot of archers in this instance.
He will be stuck in the corner. He will go to the left-hand side, and that's the mistake. Unless he wants to take the fight on the hill, which he shouldn't, because he's facing pure skirms and eagles. Even though Yo's taking a fight downhill, he's still going for some important kills. The archers are being dealt with. That's going to solve the issue, but in the background, ACCM going for Castle Age.
Yeah, ACCM, I can't overstate enough how well ACCM has managed his economy this whole time. He's going to lose a lot of army, and he's going to have to rebuild it somehow, but his economy is in a very good place, despite all this pressure.
Fully agreed. Yo's just behind. He tries to get the remaining amount of food to click up himself. And then the question, of course, being what is the next step? Yo is on stone, by the way, as he has spent some for the sake of, I believe, towers. Wow, did he actually lose that one tower that he wanted to place? He didn't delete it. Is that the reason why he's on stone? Interesting. Fair enough. Interesting. That's actually quite bad for his economy, but okay, happens. And then besides that, we have a couple of demolition rafts prepared, as well as another barracks on top of that hill for Yo. I feel that's going to be demolition rafts and eagles.
Well, I wonder if those demos can go straight to the gold, and not all those villagers can garrison in that tower. That would be the weak point. I think ACCM really needs to get this castle out as soon as possible. Make sure his crossbows are in a good position until he gets the castle, because he's so exposed until then.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of things can happen. ACCM needs to hurry up. As you mentioned, he is on stone and will potentially go for a castle. He needs time for that one. And that's the momentum for Yo that he could use together with the demolition rafts. If he lands a couple of good explosions, if he was to get the crossbow army, or if he was to get these villagers that are now being protected by another TC, well, a lot of things could happen, but I feel that Yo is taking too much time. He's not gonna go for some super early castle aggression. At least it wouldn't work now anymore. He's too far behind timing-wise. Therefore, ACCM will, I believe, have enough time to protect himself.
Well, it looks like Yo is trying to take this hill, might add a siege workshop with that villager a little later on. Nope, he's going to go down. Now we have all these demos. Demos can, of course, get a big shot on the crossbow, so you have to be very careful. And elite skirmisher coming in on these skirmishers. So this army from ACCM might get caught out a second time, and that could be something that ACCM can't afford.
Yeah, true. He needs to pay a lot of attention. We have to keep in mind that the demolition rats, of course, are nerfed speed-wise, and also their PS armor is -2. So at least the crossbowmen could land a couple of good hits, but there's also the skirmishes and the eagles that are now turned into eagle warriors and get its squires. So the army of ACCM in absolute danger. Needs to be absolutely aware of what is happening. Now we have demolition ships even. Careful now. Otherwise this army is gone.
It looks like ballistics came in a little bit too late. There's another 30 seconds on that upgrade, and we have a few demos moving around the back. Another few demos going around the other side. One of them is bound to hit. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess something is going to happen. As you said, Bill 6 is going to kick in way too late. One explosion, second explosion. A lot of HP on the crossbows, but I believe the majority is going to go down here. There we go. All the crossbows are dead. And if you look at the military count, it's now 19 to 12. That is due to the fact that 10 more crossbows are on the pitch, but utilized as a defensive measure for now because ACCM still needs to mess up and keep himself safe because it's about the castle that he's gonna go for.
ACCM's got about 30 seconds now to place this castle before there's a huge army on his doorstep.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, we have some pause, I believe. Now they're continuing. It's a bit of a little lag, but that's usual. But as you said, it's a timer now. ACCM needs to hurry up, otherwise the pressure's going to be on by Yo.
Well, he's got 300 gold and 300 wood, and he's lacking 200 stone. I would advise him to use his market and place this castle down wherever he can, because I don't think that group of crossbows is going to be good enough.
Exactly, exactly. The crossbows won't do too much. And he even takes them now. Where does he go? He's just patrolling, okay. At least Yo is taking his time as well. He tries to prepare himself. Precisely, he's actually not producing any further military units. He has quite some good numbers, but he focuses on the economy at sea. Trying to understand what he does now. Marching forward really, really slowly.
Alright, siege workshop for ACCM. He knows he's going to have to be defensive against these elite skirmishers. The castle is just about ready. Question is, where does he place it? I know he would like to take control of that gold somehow. Or maybe it's going to go in the bottom left to take control of those golds. I would like to see him maybe delete the barracks in the house and place it next to that gold or something along those lines. But then again, Mr. Yo might be able to place a castle on top of that hill, and that would bode well for late game.
Yeah,
so there's
true
the
as
castle.
well. True as well. So there's the castle indeed. Well, not the biggest fan of the position. Nah, it's actually okay. I mean, I understand why. But still. Ah, interesting. Now, Yo feels that he must do something against it. Nice gate there by ACCM as a response. The Demolition ship exploding. That's bad for Yo, but still he's approaching. The Eagles are going to go forward. They just have +1 though for the records. No +2, and the castle is up already. That's convenient castle. And that's done. Yo needs to retreat, otherwise he's going to lose even the remaining units. Going well for ACCM. Going well so far.
Yeah, Mr. Yo got in too deep there, and he lost a lot of eagles and a lot of skirmishers when he didn't have to. Now ACCM has his castle up. He's got access to that 1 gold. He has access to the gold in the south, but it still doesn't look very pretty for him. Just accessing that gold's gonna... It's not going to last him forever, and Mr. Yo has control of the 3rd gold there and the hill. If Mr. Yo can maintain control of that this game, then he'll be in a very good position and possibly be able to take out the castles of the Mayans. However, ACCM getting a interesting upgrade, Obsidian Arrows.
Exactly, Obsidian Arrows, we all know about it. Dealing some extra damage against buildings that adds up quite heavily. You know, it's, in my opinion, to a certain extent, replace the siege in many situations, because yeah, you can just tear apart the buildings, go through and kill everything all of a sudden, and that adds up quite heavily, especially if you got the numbers. Is there another hole, my friend? No, there isn't. Okay, at least,
There will be
but
soon.
still. Yeah, there will be soon. Exactly, and there it is. He still shouldn't go inside, in my opinion, because you never know what's inside of an enemy base like that, and your army is too precious, despite you having a bonus on these archers cost-wise, but still. He's taking an interesting fight against the skirmishers, which he shouldn't normally, but, well, I guess at this point, better than not taking it. But he's also losing a lot of crossbows, replacing it at the same time. Now the question is, what is Yo gonna do against this? He needs, potentially, I guess, a siege workshop by himself. But I'm not seeing this. Instead, he wants to go for a castle, it seems.
Where is Yo's army? Yo is not have... He does not have a lot of army.
Non-existent, man. 3 units in total. That's insane. And one of which is a monk, so wow. Yeah, what you want to do? The watchtower even won't even save you. Just saying. If there's enough crossbows, even the watchtower will crumble. And that's the plan, because a lot more crossbows are in the making, as well as rams, interestingly.
Well, I have to think. So Yo spent a lot of resources getting a castle, which is not too useful as the Aztecs. Probably spent a lot of resources on different upgrades for eagles, and then perhaps wasted a lot on a lot of those demos. Only one of the demos got a good shot on the crossbows, and really it wasn't necessary, because the skirmishers countered the crossbows anyway. So